Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, August 31st. On the impact map today, the big story, strong winds coming in off the Sierra front into western Nevada. Also some gusty winds up in parts of the mountains of Idaho. Fuels there more marginal, but critically dry, near record level dry fuels. Also some large fires burning near the Tahoe Basin, so those have to be watched very carefully. The other issue, it will be monsoonal moisture. Lots of lightning, but also lots of moisture pushing up. We see that trend continuing tomorrow. The wind still lingering, not quite as strong tomorrow and closer to the Sierra front itself. The smoke is a mainstay for the next couple of days across central areas where you see the gray. For today and tomorrow, looking at smoke. Again, you can see the points of origin across Northern California where the upper level wind flow is pushing it both this afternoon on the left, tomorrow afternoon on the right, mixing out a little bit across the north with that cold front. And here's the total smoke surface up above 6,000 feet, all integrated together this afternoon on the left, tomorrow afternoon on the right. We did have monsoonal moisture coming up on the right. You see the lightning, a lot of it across southern Nevada into parts of the Arizona Strip. You can see the precipitation on the left. All of that activity, as you'll soon see, is pushing steadily northwards. We did have some new starts here in the red in that vicinity of lightning late yesterday and early today. Also some new starts Utah, but these particularly up along the Sierra front are going to be problematic with the upcoming winds and low humidity. Very dry the past 7 days. Barely any precipitation other than what fell in southern areas yesterday evening and overnight. Near 0% of normal where you see the dark red. That's about 90% of the geographic area. You can see the response on the ERCs and the fuels. 90th to 96 percentiles where you see the red and the dark red, and that pushes up into the western portions of Idaho as well. More moist as you head further east, and they will be getting more moist across Utah and the Arizona Strip in the next couple of days. Satellite imagery shows deep low pressure over southern British Columbia. These tight packing, these height lines indicate very strong winds. At the same time, you see this monsoonal moisture steadily pushing northwards across our southern areas, and that'll expand the rainfall and the lightning later today. So for today, on the right, the big story will be the winds. High risk for winds, red flags from the Weather Service as well across western Nevada, along the Sierra front, extending back into northern California. And on the left, that's in response to this tight packing of these height lines, strong upper level winds of over 40 miles per hour on the ridge tops. And you also see the deeper monsoonal moisture, and where you see the areas in the green is where lightning, but also wetting rains are expected. Strong winds up here in Idaho as well. That's where we really have some good tight packing. Fuels there, though, you can see by the yellow, kind of marginal, but have to keep an eye on it. Western parts of Idaho are the driest. We look at those humidities there in Idaho. They are in the mid to upper teens, but they are in the single digits across western Nevada. That is our main concern. You can see on the left strong winds, not just the orange shade, which approaches 30 miles per hour, but in those purple shades, those are gusts approaching 40 miles per hour with single digit humidity and critically dry fuels, a big concern. And up in Idaho, winds more in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range, mostly in the eastern parts where fuels are the most moist. In our most critically dry areas in Idaho, the winds will be a little bit lighter. And precipitation here on the left, you can see that monsoonal moisture with low-end wetting rains of light green is about 1/10 of an inch to about 1/3 of an inch, coming up into the mountains of central Idaho, even into the Uintas and into eastern Nevada as well. Locally heavier amounts in the Arizona Strip. These purple and blues are locally over an inch in some of the heavier downpours. For tomorrow, you can see the monsoonal moisture pushing up across parts of Utah. See the drier air, still breezy in western areas. We still have high risk for wind here on the right across the Sierra front, but mostly right along the high mountains and just into the immediate valley. Otherwise, you can see a deep moistening across our eastern areas, and that is in response to the monsoonal moisture. First, you see the humidities in the eastern areas 50 to 60%, but still dry up in Idaho. Low teens, single digits across much of Nevada, except the southern parts near Vegas. Ironically, would be closer to 30%. Winds, strongest winds, probably 30 miles per hour, more right along the Sierra front. Otherwise, a lot of these little circles you see here are downdraft winds with thunderstorms where humidity will be higher. You see the moisture tomorrow, a bit deeper, a bit heavier rain. These purple pockets, 1/2 inch to an inch, a lot more across the higher terrain of central and eastern Utah and into the Arizona Strip and parts of far eastern Nevada. On Thursday, still some lingering moisture here. You can see on the left, Some pin drops here indicating some isolated showers as well, not as widespread. Drying out. Another trough low pressure coming in across the Pacific Northwest. Winds, although most areas in western Nevada, they will be dying down. Where we do have winds, our fuels would have moistened up a little bit, but still dry humidities across the western Great Basin here, still single digits, still moist. Further east, still dry up in Idaho. 3-day precipitation totals, you can see the different shades of blue are a ½ inch to locally an inch and a half, where we see the very light shades of blue. So good soaking rain again for southern and eastern areas, but bone dry north and west. Further down the road to Friday, zonal flow, dry air. You can see this tannish shade. The air mass dries out everywhere. We return to seasonably warm late summer conditions. On Saturday, same story, seasonable, maybe even a degree or two above normal for early September. You can see the dryness and the brown start expanding up into Idaho, and that dryness pattern continues on Sunday. If you look at the 7-day, that same pattern, and then strong high pressure building across the west coast and the Pacific Northwest and much of the Great Basin. We dry out. We don't have much green left on the map anymore. Temperatures about 5 to 10 degrees above normal by early next week. So we'll be drying on out. No significant winds, but again, getting dry. 7-day precip totals very similar to the first 3 days, and the long range 8 to 14 day for the second week of September, the 7th to the 13th. Much above normal temperatures across most of the Great Basin. Near normal precipitation, but there is a hint of another monsoonal surge across southern areas that we'll be watching. Maybe some lightning on the outer periphery that could be problematic in their drier fuels, but more moistening far south. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.